VoyMonk vlog number 96. I was thinking because I was doing some watchings of the videos, as you do on YouTube from time to time. One of my favorite shows, or I should say movies, is The Last Dragon. And if you've ever had the pleasure of seeing this film, which is honestly one of the probably goofiest and weirdest little kung fu action flicks, centers around a guy who really likens himself to Bruce Lee or whatever, who goes by the name Bruce Leroy. And no, I'm not joking. But it's a great film nonetheless. It's funny. It's got great action sequences, martial arts, that kind of thing. And an interesting dynamic good versus evil kind of thing that goes on there. And it's a bubblegum popcorn flick that's really just not too interested in being overly serious. And it's got some really cheesy music and moves and, fun acting. And if you ever get a chance to check it out, please do. I don't want to tell you too much about it because I don't want to ruin it. But it got me to thinking, too, about, I've mentioned I've loved action movies and films and things like that. And for whatever reason, in line with The Last Dragon, during the time that it was kind of a big deal, America had its long and serious fascination with not only just martial arts, but kung fu and ninja type movies, which, like I said, I don't think is a bad thing. I'm just saying what I've experienced. But the thing that I kind of wanted to note about it, which I think I've discussed what goes into a great action film or what makes sometimes bad action films great. I don't think The Last Dragon is a bad action film. I just don't think it's very serious, nor does it need to be, and it's fun. And I do think there's a lot of good movies that I would actually be loving to see more of in the coming months and years, as far as I kind of wouldn't mind getting back to that a little bit in terms of the fun that it used to be. But I wanted to specifically talk more about bad guys as well, along with this. One of the things I liked about The Last Dragon is that the bad guy was very, very one-dimensional. Like, there wasn't a real backstory. There's really no way of knowing why or he does what he does or where he came from or anything like that. And I think that's important. I think that's fun. I think that's a way that you can create series and build layers and all that kind of stuff. But I will say that for me, sometimes, that initial introduction to a character can be all that's necessary in order to build interest. But I think there needs to be a layered type of build that's also involved. Because I think one of the things that I've noticed, especially, coming from TV and stuff, going all the way back to the 50s, where it kind of started to become more serialized in action films like The Lone Ranger. Bad guys, up until I would say more later in my time, really didn't have much in the way of layers or a backstory and things like that. And I think, while I think it is important to build that, I think you have to have the interest first. But I do think that it ultimately has to land as well, meaning, because really, I think sometimes, especially some of the films later on that I've enjoyed and some that I maybe not so much or haven't gotten, I think when it comes to motivations and where certain characters come from, sometimes is not only a plus or whatever, sometimes a minus, but it's very needed, I think, for the most part, when it comes to enjoying a bad guy. Like, why is he a bad guy over sometimes the more insipid and, dare I say, some of the most convoluted reasons, for why certain things will happen in that way. And, I actually might do a voiceover where I go into this a little bit more. But yeah, I think you got to have a good bad guy just as a good guy, but I think it's also important that you create characters that are identifiable and likable and enjoyable, just like scripts, just like movies or any kind of story. So anyways, if you get a chance, please check out the Last Dragon. It's a good film. And comment and subscribe and rate and tell me what you think about it or this. Until my next vlog. Take care.